BRK that kind of sparked my interest was at the very beginning of our game, they actually dropped, you say Watertown, I say Atlantis. Everyone has a different name for it. I'm going to go with Atlantis just to annoy you. But overall, it's not the most common of loot spawns.
No, it's not.
To actually try and kind of prolong the game.
No, it was a very uncommon drop spot, but you saw there was kind of a pseudo hot drop there, if you will. A couple of teams were dropping right next to each other in a very obscure location. I believe that was Team Terror. They peeled off and decided to go elsewhere, leaving Watertown to be looted up by BRK. So they got the loot that they needed. Ultimately, it allowed them to win a couple of fights, put them in a pretty good position here heading out of round one.
Yeah, and they actually got caught coming out of that area there. They were pretty much hiding in a little shack as cars were passing by them. So very, very risky drop there by them.
Can you be the tiebreaker, Seven? Can you tell me, what do you like, Watertown or what's your choice?
Venice.
Venice? Oh no!
Oh boy, we're never coming to resolution on this one.
Well played, well played. I'm not going to take that away from you. But overall, going into our next round, what do you think some of these teams have to take away from them? Obviously, I think that the plane was pretty good for the most part. It didn't limit too many locations. What do you think?
It didn't really shine the light on any location in particular as though it's going to be this is going to be a hot drop. But there was a lot of stuff that was in range. You saw it kind of splitting the difference between Pmsc military base against Naya Polyana, flying right on through the middle there on the diagonal. So a really solid plane path for the most part. Maybe we'll see another one this game.
Yeah, and pretty much the ending zone there just pushing all the way up to George Bull, even though people were landing at the beginning there in military base. So great rotations by some teams. I'm looking forward to see if some teams are going to start landing more towards they're more comfortable. So BRK, are they going to go Pachinki? Maybe Cloud9, are they going to start going to Novo? I'm looking forward to see if they're going to start doing that or if they're just going to keep on mixing it up.
That zone though, that is my least favorite zone in all of Erangel that we saw at the end of that game, just out in the middle of nowhere, absolutely no cover. And if somebody's in that sniper tower and in that building, as GT Doyu was, they're in a supreme position. But it's even that's not safe because it's just like throw nades at me, you know. So
I mean, it wasn't only the circle over water; it was also over a bridge as well for a little bit of time, which. Water and bridge creates multi-leveled weird fights going on in such an odd area.
That's just mean.
And as we saw there, pretty much they were taking advantage of it. They were just crouching under the bridge, being a munchkin pretty much, and just shooting people out of the water as they were starting to coming up.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it was really, really interesting to see. Another kind of note that I have from game one was Team Japan getting caught in vehicles multiple times out in fields, just trying to drive peacefully, I might add, from one location to the next, and they got shot at by Cloud9. They got blown up there at the end. You know, everything seemed like it was pretty chaotic enough, and then Team Japan comes driving through and then just ultimately got destroyed.
Yeah, risky plays. I think it was the Terror team also did that as well.
Same thing, but they were able to sneak across the bridge.
They were, and then Hyro was trying to do that too. So a lot of teams just taking riskier plays. Are they going to learn from that, or are they just going to go ahead and, you know what, maybe that was just bad luck there on that one. Let's just go ahead and continue.
I think luck had a lot to do with it. That zone really kind of forced. I mean, you saw how many people were left alive. That was one thing you got to give credit to all these teams. Just staying alive with no real cover and in a tiny circle like that. Sometimes you don't have a lot of choice besides, well, let's just hit it and hope for the best. And unfortunately, for a couple of the teams, it didn't work out. Others, it did.
Evos in that position that they were in at the very end actually were quite fortunate that we saw Doyu show themselves in the tower as well, because coming off of that ridge next to where the river is can be very difficult against that tower in itself, right?
It can. It's got some great cover there. You can kind of move horizontally back and forth. But the tower being the prime position, but the tower also, you know exactly where they're going to be. So you know where to put your crosshair, and as soon as they peek, that's the end of it.
Yeah, and if you get caught in the water, it's pretty much over for you. As we saw pretty much for Seagod there, an outsider trying to get away. But ultimately, they just got killed.
And obviously we saw whilst these teams were thinking about their strategies, they were able to kind of plan out some of their rotations, even with the little stylus of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, to try and figure out exactly where they want to go. Obviously, they don't know exactly where the plane path is going to be just yet for this game, but overall, you can get a good grasp, especially if you want to drop towards the center of the map, to know where you want to go eventually. People have their usual path.
Certainly. I want to see, as Seven mentioned, if the teams start to gravitate towards their natural landing spots. I feel like strategy played a big part in this first game. Teams didn't want to reveal what they're normally comfortable with. They all said that they did some studying, and they altered kind of where they started out.
Well, gentlemen, we are ready. It's going to be game number 2 here of our tournament as a whole to figure out who's going to be able to rack up the points and who is going to be able to catch up with Evos and Doyu to get things going. 7, PB, take it away.
Let's do this, baby. Game number 2. Who's going to go ahead and win it? Let us know. You currently watching at home, whether you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, comment below right now who you got. And oh my God, that plane, I cannot get over that plane. It's just so awesome.
Don't look up. You'll get it cut by a propeller. That thing is unbelievably cool. Flying through the arena here, dropping in the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, displaying round 2 of the PUBG Mobile Star Challenge Global Finals.
Let's see what this plane pass is going to be, because we saw it earlier. It definitely determines a lot of stuff.
Hey,
and as we were
it's the
mentioning,
same path, but flipped a little bit. We're going to go diagonally through the map again from the north this time, flying on down south through the military base, which does put Noye in range, but pretty much everything in range here on this plane path. This is a great path.
and something I noticed right away, Gangstars drops, and they're going to their natural habitat, George Bull.
Yeah, you kind of saw this one coming. They're going to head to North George and start looting up per usual. Let's see if a lot of these teams kind of get back to their roots here. And, you know, we saw some of the teams that prefer Pochinki did not drop their last game, even though the plane path did allow it. We'll see if they do that again this game.
A lot of teams just starting to spread out. Actually, I'm loving this plane path here because it's going to allow teams to just pretty much go to where they usually want to go, right? They don't have to just jump into a car and try to go that way. And look at this, BRK, once again, dropping Atlantis, Watertown,
or
Venice, whatever you want to call it. They're going there once again. It seems to work out there in the first match, so why not? Let's go ahead and do it again.
They're going to drop into a place with buildings and water. We'll call it that, buildings and water. Looting up, though, but they have company. Did you see that? They got another squad there looting up just on the outside, and it is Terror once again from India. These are the same guys last time that peeled off. Maybe this time, you know, maybe they won't.
And look at Terror here, already with the NAM4. They got some guns. I saw somebody there from BRK pretty much just trying to run away because he didn't have a gun just yet. And once again, just to remind you, the top 10 scores, GT Doyu with 605 points, Evo's Burnout with 590, and LH Doyu.
Look at that, LH Doyu in its third place right now, and they did not finish anywhere near the top 3. Remember, Gangstars put them out much earlier. I believe they finished 7th or 8th overall in the standings. But with the 16, or was it 18? It was either 16 or 18 kills. Man, they rocketed up those rankings.
An interesting place here by the Terror team from India, as they are now starting to run away there from BRK. Now, the only problem with this is that they're going to be super exposed. If for some reason any team passes by, they're going to be easy pickings.
I'm interested to see how these guys continue to play. It's kind of an interesting tactic, you know, establishing yourself in an obscure location and then immediately giving up ground, even though you have the assault rifles and weapons already on your person. Not quite sure of that decision. They've been very passive so far in this, you know, tournament. We've got Cloud9 and Evos again squaring off in Yes Naya.
Again, I wonder if they're going to go ahead and knock each other down one more time and realize, hey, you know what? We're going to keep on dropping here. What are we going to do here? Are we going to try to take each other off at the beginning of the match, or we're just going to pretty much keep doing the same thing? Knock one down and then back up and just run away.
One thing I see developing with Evos and Cloud9 there, Cloud9 very separate from each other. These guys are all looting up solos. So if Evos does catch one of them, it's going to be curtains for him, unless they can pull off some sort of miracle rotation to pick up their teammates.
And LH Doyu actually having Novo all to themselves. My gosh, that's going to be a huge advantage there, because we saw them play really good in the last round. And if they're able to go ahead and get that loot, on top of that, just being able not to have to worry fighting anybody on Novo, that's crazy.
They've gone there twice now, kind of staking their claim. Novo is ours, and with those gun skills and with that performance in the first round, let's see if Cloud9 actually challenges that a little bit later on. I have a feeling they may steer clear and continue to loot up Yaz, as it's got a little bit more escape route, a little bit more versatility. And as you can see, the zone this game, very central, very friendly to pretty much everyone, everywhere on the map.
Yeah, and actually, Team Japan, very spread out. They're not even close to each other. I think they were maybe trying to get some cars and loot up, but interesting plays there by them, as they do have GT Doyu fairly close in school. School, one of the people's favorite drops sometimes.
We've got a split drop right now, looks like, from GT Doyu. They're heading School, Roz. I mean, they're trying to group up, but it looks like Team Japan over at the apartments right now staking their claim. Six God's going to have to get out of Dodge and head over to meet up with his team as he sees the folks over at the apartments.
And just to remind you at home, this is day 1, round number 2. We will be doing this tomorrow and the day after tomorrow until December 1st. So make sure you go ahead and tune in at the exact same time. In BTR, taking what, I wasn't able to see that the name there, but just pretty much looting up as much as it can with the DP28 as well. Level 1 helmet, that's something that we're kind of been seeing in play here. If you have a level 1 helmet, you might not want to go ahead and take a fight because everybody is just so accurate.
What if you have a level 1 helmet with spikes on it like that guy?
I might take it. I'm sold.
Yeah, maybe, you know, Kato has here the level 1 helmet with spikes on it as well. Looking pretty solid here, but again, sweet backpack, really cool gear, man. All these guys are looking fly. Carnage has got that sweet white backpack on, and these guys are, look at him, he's just scouting. He's just looking around. He's trying to find those Evos guys.
It is. They're using that third-person perspective to their advantage. Once again, day number 1 is third person, day number 2 is first person, and day number 3 is going to go ahead and be third person once again. So you're going to be seeing a lot of people, if it's third person, you're going to be seeing a lot of people just put up their faces straight to the wall just so they can go ahead and look around the corner.
What's that guy doing there? Just staring at the wall.
And also, you're going to see a lot of snakes, it seems, in third person. If for some reason you don't know what snakes are, is when people just lay down on the ground. So do me a favor, if you're watching at home, spam some snakes in the chat, please, as Evos is still just looting up all these apartments. And my goodness, they already have an M4, they already got pens, they already got the whole 9, it seems.
Yeah, they're looking pretty solid right now. Evos, again, really, really solid crew. And they are, man, really great stuff. I mean, finishing first overall in the first game. CPT, interesting stuff here. Driving around outside of Pachinki, grabbing a spot on the hill here.
Trying to find the ocean to go
outside
surfing.
buildings, interesting.
Yeah, definitely trying to find the ocean to go surfing there. And he doesn't currently, there you go, he does have one gun behind him, but he's trying to find more stuff. And that man has a level 2. Oh my gosh, look at this right here. That zone, actually not bad at all.
It's smack dab in the center, even the teams that are out of it right now. It's better, or it puts out more damage per bullet, but you know, a lot of times if you're good with a weapon, you stick with it.
Yep. Ooh, and look at this drop right here for Wildcard. Wildcard just on crates. That man C got already with the ghillie suit. That's actually getting shot at.
Big Russian bot getting shot at here.
They're getting shot at, and they're
in Europe, and they've got a lot to prove here this particular match.
Yeah, something that I would like to go ahead and point out is that there's not that much action here at the beginning. Before